When you start hiding things from your spouse, it's a pretty good sign you're headed for a divorce. Now, obviously, nobody knows everything about us all the time, but a marriage is supposed to be built on trust and loyalty to each other. And if there's something you're doing, whether you feel like it's fine for you to do it or not fine to do it, but if you don't want your spouse to know about it, you keep it hidden, it's a pretty good sign that your marriage is on a fast track to an end. And so if you feel like you have to hide things from your spouse and you're already in that point of view anyway, kind of in your mind, you may start taking the steps to prepare yourself for when you are divorced, or if you need to file for divorce, or if you think your spouse may file against you when they find out, then you may need to start taking some steps right now to protect yourself and prepare yourself for what could be happening down the line. So if you are hiding things from your spouse, or you find they're hiding things from you, that's a pretty good predictor that divorce is probably in the future for you. We all know that life can be really hard sometimes, and it's even harder when you feel like you're doing it all on your own. Marriage is supposed to be about a partnership between two people. And if you feel like you're the only one who takes care of the children, who works to make the money, who washes the dishes, who takes care of the laundry, who cleans the bathroom, who takes the dogs out, and you feel like you're the only one ever doing anything, and this other person just kind of a leech on your life and they're adding no value, that's a pretty good predictor that you're heading for a divorce. So many people feel like they get so much done in a day because the other person does nothing, and they're exhausted when they go to bed, they're exhausted when they wake up, and you're in this cycle where you never feel like you get ahead. You always feel like things are just so far behind already. You're probably headed for a divorce. Feeling like you're the only one who tries in your relationship is a great predictor to the fact that divorce could be in the future for you. Marriage is all about a compromise, and when you're raising children, probably even more so. You bring all your background and your views on how kids should be raised. The other person brings their background and their views about how children should be raised. And oftentimes those conflict with each other. And instead of having harmony, you have tension back and forth all the time. Sometimes it gets to the point where you can't agree on anything about the kids. You're not agreeing about what doctor the children should see. You're not agreeing about where the kids are going to go to school. You don't agree about extracurriculars. You don't agree about where we're going to go to church. You don't agree about anything about the kids. And so many times the tension between you and your spouse about the children and all the difference you have there is a really good predictor that divorce could be on the horizon for you, because there's nothing anymore that y'all are willing to compromise about when it comes to your kids. And if you can't compromise, then you are going to be always butting your heads against each other and never able to come to an agreement. And that, again, is a great predictor that divorce could be in your future. Over the course of your marriage, things happen. Hurts build up, people get offended, and inevitably, eventually we talk to our parents, we talk to our siblings, we talk to our best friends about what's going on. And look, they love us, they want to hear our concerns, or maybe sometimes they look in from the outside and they see things that you haven't even noticed yet. And they see the way this person talks to you, they see the way you're picking up all the slack at home, all the hard work you're doing. And then they start and give negative influences in your marriage. And they start to say, I can't believe that you put up with so much at home. Or, baby, I'm so sorry you have to put up with him. All you do is work, and all he does is sit around at home and plays video games. You hear all these things come in as negative influences from the outside. And whether it's friends or especially in-laws, siblings, people like that, those negative influences, when those start to come between you and your spouse, that is a great predictor that divorce could be in your future, because when you and your spouse are united, you're not going to let those outside influences come in and change the way you feel about anything. But when you start to take those in and you listen to those, they will start to influence not only the way you feel about your relationship, but even the way you view your spouse. And if you let those things take over your mind and the way you see people, that can predict that divorce could be on your horizon. You may see some predictors in your relationship right now, and you wonder, is divorce going to happen? If you need to talk to somebody about all the things happening or the outside influences, things that are you're just so tired of dealing with at home, or maybe all the feelings about, your lovey-dovey feelings in a marriage have worn off, and you wonder, is divorce in the future for me? And you need to talk to somebody who's experienced in this field, call our office. We'd love to talk through these issues with you.